Hi everyone, and welcome to HDFS 4330, Diversity in Human Development and Family Systems. My name is Leslie Anderson, and I will be your instructor for the fall 2019 semester. As you can notice, I am not physically present there with you all today, but my good colleague Michael Curtis is there to help facilitate this first day of class. I am in this very beautiful place, pictured below in Northampton, Massachusetts. This is where I've spent the latter half of my semester at Smith College, teaching 2 courses in their school for social work. But I will be returning to Athens over the weekend and will most certainly be in class with you all this coming Monday. But what I did want to do today was at least introduce myself to all of you and to talk a little bit about the course, expectations for the semester, and start to have some dialogue around issues related to diversity. So a little bit about myself, and I look forward to hearing about you all when I get there on Monday. But I am originally from the great state of Mississippi. I am currently a doctoral candidate here in the Department of Human Development and Family Science. And I'm also a licensed marriage and family therapist. I've been practicing now since about 2011. The vast majority of my clinical work has been in what I term as community-based settings. So working in schools with children ages K through 12, as well as working with families in their home, in their natural environments. And in a lot of ways, my experiences with families in the community has also motivated me to pursue higher education and thinking about ways how I can make a bigger impact in my community. Broadly speaking, I study processes of what's called ethnic socialization, specifically in Black American families. So this is sort of a complex way to talk about how parents, caregivers, siblings, other influential individuals in the lives of Black children have conversations with them about what it means to be Black in the U.S., specifically really working to instill a sense of cultural pride in children, and also helping them to think about ways to protect themselves against racism, against discrimination, and other forms of oppression. So talking to children about how they can resist some of these structural forces that exist in our society. So I really have a heart for the underserved and underrepresented people. And again, I think this has a lot to do with my prior clinical work and working with folks impacted by poverty, folks impacted by substance use, mental illness, so on and so forth. So many thanks to those of you who did respond to the brief pre-class survey that I sent out. And so a couple of questions that I posed to you all was related to diversity and really trying to get you to think about why courses like this that focus on diverse family systems and other systems are so important, especially for folks like us in the field of human development and family science. And so some of the responses that I got were in order to be able to help people from different backgrounds, thinking about the reality that diversity exists literally all around us, in order to be able to understand the perspectives of others and not just my own, which I think is extremely important. And everyone has different experiences that shape their development. Each of us come from particular social locations. We all have certain social identities that really shape our development, who we are, and how we see the world around us. So again, thank you to those of you who did that, because your responses really resonate with me and make me all the more excited to engage in the work that we'll be doing this semester. One critical element of this class that I want to start emphasizing right off the bat is how important it is that we engage in this process of questioning ourselves, questioning our biases, questioning these assumptions that we all have in hopes of really understanding ourselves better. That's an important first element for us to really think about as we engage with readings, as we engage with watching different video lectures, so on and so forth. All of these things start with us understanding us. Because my social location, coming from Mississippi, being from the South, being a Black woman, all of these aspects of myself influence the way that I make sense of the world. So I hope you really grasp that concept and continue to chew on that throughout the semester. Because before we start trying to understand other people and other groups, we're going to spend a good bit of time just really working to understand ourselves. So hopefully by this point, Michael has disseminated the syllabi. If not, feel free to hit pause and go ahead and pass that out if you don't mind. Thank you. But these are our course objectives, quite a few. But I do just want to, make sure that I punctuate these because they are important. And so demonstrating an increased awareness of self, specifically related to biases, prejudices, privileges, disadvantages, etc. These are all objectives that it's my hope that you'll be able to walk away feeling as though you've achieved these things or have come very, very close in terms of your growth and progression. Being able to develop effective tools to engage in dialogue about difficult topics like racism, sexism, oppression, and others. Understanding how variability and inequality in social identities impact individual and family life outcome. Being able to examine diversity that occurs within groups as well as between groups. Recognizing the benefits of diversity across various social contexts. Applying theoretical perspectives and critical thinking skills to the consideration of individual and family diversity. Adequately considering how socio-historical contexts affect contemporary issues of diversity and inequality and its impact on individuals and families in the U.S. And then lastly, adequately considering issues from a social justice framework in order to be culturally responsive researchers, practitioners, consumers of information, responsible citizens, and agents of social change. That's a mouthful. That's a lot. But these are very much our aims for this semester. And there are a number of assignments and activities that I have pulled together that will really help to facilitate this process. It's my hope that these activities will help to facilitate these processes. Really, really read your course policies outlined in your syllabus carefully. There are a number of different things that I'm asking you to do, like not use technology in the classroom. So cell phones, laptops, tablets, all other devices, I believe can really, really be a distraction because of the content that we're discussing this semester, because the way that the course is really structured with lots of engagement, lots of interactive activities. I'm really, really going to encourage you all not to use technology. There is an attendance policy that I have listed as well. I am going to take attendance each class. These are things that I feel like are important specifically for courses like this, where engagement is imperative. in order for you to understand the concepts that we'll be discussing, and for you to be able to demonstrate to me that you are understanding the material in a way that you can actually apply in your life and in your work. So it'll be due this Friday before midnight, and you'll also receive a link to complete it following today's class. So these are the assignments that you have this semester. The syllabus quiz, which I just mentioned, your attendance and participation in what's called dialogue groups is going to be worth 80 points. And we're going to talk a lot more about that on Monday. You'll have an identity paper, an implicit bias assessment paper, a diversity experience paper, and then your final diversity poster will be completed in small groups. And again, we'll talk about each of these in great detail. I assure you that you'll have all the info that you need in order to be successful in the course. And we'll talk about these in the weeks to come. So as I've already mentioned, you will be participating in what's called dialogue groups. So we'll be meeting Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, which is a lot of class time. It's actually 45 classes over this semester. 45 classes is a lot, especially if we're only doing lecture, if we're only doing video. And I just believe that a lot more engagement and interaction is needed. For that reason, in addition to listening to lectures, in addition to listening to different video lectures, we'll also be engaging in small group dialogues at least once a week, unless we run into different issues. And again, we're going to have more conversation about this on Monday. But Paulo Freire was a Brazilian philosopher and educator who has written one of the foundational texts on what's called critical pedagogy. And the text is called Pedagogy of the Oppressed. And there are a number of fundamentals that Freire lays out in his text, but one of them is really the importance of engaging in dialogue and how dialogue facilitates the learning process. There is something incredibly invaluable that we can learn from each other. Dialogue requires an openness to new information and a willingness to be challenged. So I'm engaging in discussion and dialogue with another person, not with the sole purpose of making my point, but from learning from them as well. And as a result, new knowledge can be generated through this shared experience. And it's my hope we're going to do everything that we can to co-create a space where true dialogue can occur. And this takes time. I don't expect us to jump into these groups and start disclosing things and start sharing personal perspectives. But with great intentionality and consistency, it's my hope that we'll be able to do that. And one of the ways that we're going to start cultivating this type of space is by engaging in some discussion today. Not in groups, but with pairs. I ask that you listen to this TED Talk presented by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, who is a Nigerian author and a very, very well-known speaker and scholar. This is an incredibly popular TED Talk that she delivered several years ago that's been heard by millions. So, Michael, you can pause the video here, and then we'll have some dialogue after the completion of the video. So now that you've listened to Adichie's TED Talk about the danger of a single story, there are a number of questions that I would like you to consider. Think about what your initial thoughts were. What are some incomplete stories that you've been guilty of believing about, and so on and so forth. You're going to take maybe 5 to 6 minutes to jot some responses down to these questions and then share with the person sitting closest to you. And then Michael will facilitate a larger group discussion.